Hi, this is Matt Hugg with ThinkNP, and today we have with us Jennifer Lynn Robinson of Purposeful Networking, and this is your 5 tips in 10 minutes. Jennifer, let's get started. What's number 1?
My first tip with networking would be prepared like you were going to an exam.
Ooh, excellent. Okay, so tell us about this.
So I think, going to an event, I think a lot of people feel like if I've gotten myself to an event, I've succeeded, I've networked,
right? Yeah,
I got myself there, right? But I think there's so much you can do behind the scenes, and some of that is your basic stuff, like remember your business cards and that sort of thing. You always want to have that ready. But I'm talking about more learning the event format ahead of time.
Okay.
Will there be open networking? Will I have to give a 30 or 60 second elevator pitch? Am I prepared to do that?
Okay.
Is there a registration list available as far as who will be attending the event, or can I get one? Can I ask for one and will they give it to me?
Right.
And then I can research some of the people and target 3 to 5 people to meet at the event in the room.
Oh, excellent. That's really good. So then that follow-up, that's a good strong one. What's number 2?
So number 2 would be, to make sure that you have topics and questions ready.
Oh, this is kind of related to doing your homework and making sure you have all this. Okay,
absolutely.
Good, cool.
So, some people this comes more naturally than others, and that's where I think, obviously the number 1, preparation is key.
Right.
I think that if you don't really think hard about it, what you do, and I've done this too, is go to events and you ask people who you are, what's your name, and then what do you do? That's kind of the default question.
Right.
What would be much better is to ask an open-ended question. So I really try to encourage people to ask basic things like
not the yes/no stuff.
Not the yes/no stuff. How has your day been? What made you get into this industry? What projects are you working on? What do you like about coming to this networking organization? Why would it be good for me?
Right.
Who else should I meet in the room? Which I think is a great one.
That's a really good one.
Yeah. So I think you want to basically help people open up a dialogue, and it's hard to do that sometimes with the whole "what do you do?" Because people who aren't extroverts might give you a, I work for Smith's Air and Heating,
and
then you got nowhere to go.
Right. Boom, you're done. Right.
So and I think another thing along those lines. There's an author that I really like, Keith Ferrazzi. He wrote a few books. He's like a networking specialist, and he wrote a book called Never Eat Alone, and he talks about having conversational currency.
Okay.
So coming to events and conferences and things prepared with topics either around pop culture or news, not so much politics and things like that.
Right. We'll stick around.
But things that you can talk to people about, sports games, things that you're ready to talk to people about. And like I said, if you're an introvert, make note cards and go over those before you go to the event so that you're ready to have a great conversation when you get there.
And I'm sure that reduces people's anxiety about networking generally, is that now you're prepared and you're good to go.
Exactly.
So what's number 3?
So number 3 is be interested and be interesting.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is, a lot of times you talk to people at events and it's clear that they don't really want to be talking to you. You might see them look at their phone, or maybe they're scanning the room for somebody that might be more interesting or more important for them to talk to.
Sure.
You really want to focus on the person you're talking to and make them feel special, just like you would want to feel. That whole idea of treating other people the way you want to be treated. So, and the idea is really it's not about you, it's about the other person when you meet somebody.
That's important.
That's very important. Really listen to people, get as much information from them as you can. So that you can figure out maybe how you can help them problem solve, whether it's something you can offer or you might be able to offer help from somebody in your network. If you don't listen, you won't know.
But you're not pumping them for information.
No.
You're just kind of having a conversation. And I like about helping them network, because now you've become a valuable resource for them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, so what's number 4? What do you do next?
Number 4 is having a follow-up plan. Because over 90% of people that go to networking events don't follow up. And a lot of us have good intentions. You go, you meet people, you have great conversations, you collect your cards, and then, a week or 2 pass by, and, whether it's your purse or your wallet or your pocket or your pants or blazer, you find these business cards and you're like, who are these people? So that's what you want to avoid. So, I think what's good is having a system in place. It can be any system. There's no right method, but having a system of how are you capturing information? Is it a CRM system that you input information to? Some people love apps. They input people's information like that. Some people take notes on business cards about why they wanted to follow up with people. But the idea is not only should you follow up, but follow up as soon as you can, and also in the most specific way that you can. Tell people, remind people what you talked about, where you met. It's going to trigger, a reaction from them. Oh yeah, we had this great conversation. I really want to follow up with them and set a coffee or a phone call or something like that. that.
Okay.
And then also think about the priority of how you're following up. Not everyone's equal. People will waste your time, and you have to really be mindful of that as a business owner. Some people will warrant a one-on-one hour-long coffee,
Sure.
and others will warrant a 2-line email.
Yeah,
so
right.
you
And
have to
maybe a
think
phone
about
call
that.
thing in between, whatever
Exactly.
it is.
Right. So think about that.
And that's interesting. I mean, you talked about apps. I know Evernote has a really good
Right.
thing.
Some
that
people love
you
Evernote.
do.
Yeah.
And there are other apps out there. You just scan the card and go. That's good. Make that efficient.
Yes.
And now, what's your last 5th point? What do you got?
You know what? I have to look down.
Okay.
Oh, okay, I figured it out. Okay, I knew I would not remember all of them off the top of my head.
You've been doing great.
So yeah, so my last one would be try to be of service, and we talked about that a little. Opening
Okay.
your network. So what I mean by this is try to add value, whether it's at an event or afterwards as you're building relationships. What can you do for somebody else? And again, one of my favorite authors that I also wanted to mention is Adam Grant. He's a local professor here at Wharton. You've probably
well,
know him.
Local to us, but nationally and
known.
international in
Right,
scope.
right, of course, yeah, but
we just
locally
take
here.
it for granted.
Yeah. So his first book, Give and Take, he talks about this idea of a 5-minute favor.
Right.
And the 5-minute favor is doing something that's of high value to somebody else, but takes not much of your time.
Yes.
Some examples he gives of that is writing somebody a testimonial or a recommendation, making a virtual introduction, forwarding somebody an article or an invitation to something.
Yeah.
These are things that people will value because they show that you listened. For example, if somebody says to you, my son's looking for some place to play soccer, and something comes across your desk,
Sure.
not only are you solving a problem for them that you found a place for the child to play soccer, but you're thinking of them, and they're going to remember, well, I met her at this event, and she took this time to send me something that's going to help my life and my son. It doesn't have to be, and I think this is the last point I would make, it doesn't have to be professionally based. I think anything you can do to add value or help people, whether it's business based, finding them somebody to help them with marketing, or finding them a nanny because they just moved to the neighborhood and they don't have one.
Okay.
Whatever
Sure.
you can do
That's
to be
good.
a resource, I think is great, and it's going to help you build relationships.
Well, and there are tools like I think of LinkedIn on the recommendations and all that you can really apply that to. I mean, in the business side, but then
definitely.
also just like you said, listening and finding out what their needs are and becoming a resource.
Becoming a resource.
And that's really good.
And not expecting anything in return. I think that's what the concept that Adam would say, and that's also something that I try to live by. It's not a keeping score kind of situation. I like to think of it as networking karma. It will come back to you at some point.
It will circle back.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, this has been great. Jennifer, thank you so much. Now, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, where do they call? What website should they look at?
Sure. So my website is just purposefulnetworking.com.
Okay.
And then I have a business page on Facebook. I have a YouTube channel that houses all my TV shows for Mainline Connect.
Oh, good.
If people are interested in that. And then I'm at Are You Networked on Twitter and on Instagram. So you can also look for me
So
there.
the letter R, the letter U?
Actually, the word A-R-E, are you? It's almost like a question. Are you networked?
Oh, okay,
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Great.
How's your networking?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
So you can find me at Are You Networked on Twitter and Instagram.
Excellent. Well, this has been Jennifer Lynn Robinson. Jennifer, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And this has been 5 Tips in 10 Minutes with ThinkNP. See you later.